Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS videos, NFL videos when I have the time, prize picks videos, sportsbook content, anything you can think of. I do content for in my Discord, these videos on YouTube for you guys, etc. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on X right here. I'll have that link down below, and then all these videos they get posted to this subreddit, where I'll have it linked down below, where you can ask me questions leading up to lock about the slate. I'll be here usually after the slate. I'm here all day long. I have no life. DFS sports betting is my life, so that'll be linked down below. And then if you're looking for more in-depth content where I give you guys cores, sportsbooks plays, prize picks plays, flag plants and GPPs, etc., etc., I'll have that link down below. Recapping today, I will have my lineup shown in the next video tomorrow. You guys know I don't sweat my lineups, but I can tell you I'm probably going to have a min cash day. My core today in GPPs, it was my flag plant in GPPs with Jake Laravia. He nuked it. Amazing game from him. And then my core was get to at least one of James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I personally played both. And then Keontae George, he had a solid game. And then Jordan Clarkson, he got hurt. But I should still cash even with Jordan Clarkson. Then I rounded out my lineup with Walker Kessler in one lineup, John Collins in the other. So I split those two guys. Who else did I have? Kyle Filipowski I had. Of course, Laravia, Giannis, James Harden, the bigs from Utah. Jordan Clarkson, Keontae George. I forget who the last guy was, Jake Laravia. I'm kind of forgetting, but should be able to min cash. But I'll recap it in the next video. And then sportsbook and prize picks. We swept on prize picks. Sportsbook plays, if Devin Booker gets more than 31.5 points plus assists, I'll go 11-0 on sportsbooks today. I'm just going to be up a ton of money just from sportsbooks alone. Just absolutely wild. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this 7-game slate. I love this slate. I think it looks phenomenal. Going to be a lot of craziness with values. There's going to be more value opening up and stuff like that. So before we get into this, I think this deserves a vape hit. I think. All right. Paolo out. Franz questionable. If they're both out, well, if Franz is out, you're going to see Suggs basically run this entire offense. He would look great at 5.8K. And then you're going to see more. We're going to have to wait and see who starts. But like Wendell Carter Jr. would be fine at 5.4K. KCP would be firmly to play at 4.2K. But we're going to have to wait and see who starts. Like, with them both out, you're going to see more minutes for like a Jonathan Isaac, a Mo Wagner, Anthony Black, a Cole Anthony, all these bench guys, even like a Jet Howard possibly at 3K. There would be so many guys in play here, and we'd have to wait and see what they do with the starting lineup if they're both out. But there's definitely going to be some pretty strong value if Franz is out. Even with Paolo out, you're going to see more run for like Jonathan Isaac. Do like some Jonathan Isaac and GPPs at 3.6K. Probably going to see a bit more like Jet Howard. They have so many guards, it's just disgusting. But if Franz is out, they're going to have to play these guys a decent amount. You're definitely going to need some interest in Orlando if both Franz and Paolo are out for tomorrow. Now, if Franz is in at 7.1, he's going to do everything for this team. Not the best matchup going up against Cleveland, but he would look great at 7.1. It's just going to be a usage monster with no Paolo Banchero, right? Still would have interest in Suggs at 5.8K. No Paolo. He's still too cheap, in my opinion, with no Paolo. Good defender. They need him out there. She'll play big minutes. Role is different from last year to this year. So would like Suggs, would really like Franz. And yeah, with Paolo, you're going to see like more minutes for Isaac, possibly like a Wagner. What else? KCP, I don't know if I want to play him with Franz in, but like Anthony Black, probably. They have so many guards. But we're going to have to wait for, it's kind of like a wait and see approach for me. When we get starters tomorrow, if Franz is in or out, I'll make updates on Reddit for you guys who I like off the bench. There's going to be bench guys in play if Franz is out, and then whoever starts when we get the news on Franz and whatever, I'll make updates when we do get that news. There's a number of ways they can go, but yeah, definitely going to see more minutes for like Isaac, possibly some of the guards, etc. So I'll make updates tomorrow when we do get that news. It's the first game, kind of tough to break down right now. Moving on to Cleveland, so Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, and Dean Wade are your starters. I can't get to Dean Wade. We already have so much better value and so much potential better value opening up. I just can't do it personally for me. Karis LeVert at 5K seems priced right. Should play low 20s minutes off the bench. Going to be high usage, but yeah, seems priced right to me. Prices are ticking down a little bit. No Paolo, no Franz. Could make the matchup a little bit better, but still it's not going to be amazing. Sorry, I heard something in the background. But Donovan Mitchell at 8.2K I think is okay. I think, if we take a look at the range that he's in, I think there's some other guys I'd rather play, but like always have to have interest in Donovan Mitchell. Like Brandon Ingram has the team to himself, possibly like a cat in a good spot. What else do we have? Jalen Brunson right there, Jalen Johnson right there. Definitely some other guys I'd rather play in the range of like a Donovan Mitchell, but ceiling unmatched, always a good play. Day two does seem a tad bit too cheap, personally to me. So still a good play. Both the bigs look similar. I always just prefer Evan Mobley. Not phenomenal plays, but in play in large field GPPs. And then Garland I still think is about priced right. All right, so we know that quote. I'm going to keep saying it. They're going to play Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser more up against bad teams, especially when they have a lead. So you should see Peyton Pritchard play a lot. He played 39 minutes last game. I don't think it went to overtime. I was looking at all rotations before making this video, as I do every single night. Okay, it did go into overtime, but they closed with Keta, Peyton Pritchard, Tatum Brown, and I believe White. Horford got benched, Drew got benched. I don't think they were in foul trouble either. So that was a bit odd. Definitely a bit odd. But I think normally you're going to see low 30s minutes for Drew, and you're going to see low to mid 20s minutes for Al Horford. But up against bad teams, Peyton Pritchard should play around 30 minutes. Going to be elite usage, and if you play for a blowout, and he's not going to get the giga junk time, but if you get him in the fourth quarter with none of the starters, he can nuke it. So, like, if I'd rather play Karis LeVert or Peyton Pritchard, I think it's Peyton Pritchard all day long. So, I still have interest in Peyton Pritchard there just because they're going to play him up against the bad teams a little bit more. Al Horford at 5-1 normally she'll play low 20s minutes, makes him a fine option there. Drew Holiday, Derek White. This price point on Drew Holiday doesn't make a ton of sense to me. 5.5K, I know he got kind of benched last game with Al Horford, but normally a guy that can get some assists, get some rebounds, hasn't had the greatest of usage rates, but 5.5 does seem a tad bit too cheap for Drew Holiday. I really like Jason Tatum at 10K. I think he's a really good spend up. I still think he's going to continue to be somewhat popular. We don't have a ton of great spend ups. Well, we do. Sabonis, I love, LaMelo Ball, Tatum, Trae Young, with a bunch of guys out. So we do have good spend ups, but I think Tatum's a really, really solid spend up. And then Jaylen Brown at 8.5 is pretty good as well. Not going to go to anyone else here. Sam Hauser at 3.5. He is back as well. Alright, let's move on to Charlotte. So we could have Brandon Miller back. If Brandon Miller's back, Seth Curry should move to the bench. Then I wouldn't be as excited about these values like Josh Green, Seth Curry. I still think you could play like a Trey Man. He would kind of be similar to like a Peyton Pritchard to me. And then Nick Richards, drug testing for that game. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but his minutes have been pretty solid. Low 30s minutes, okay point per minute guy. Now he's 6K now, not in the best spot. So like, I kind of have a tough time paying that price point for him, but should project okay. I think he's fine. Miles Bridges, if Brandon Miller's in, this guy's just been awful. Just a large field GPP play for me. And then, LaMelo Ball, point guards, not the worst spot as people think going up against Boston. I think it's a fine spot at 9, actually a pretty good spot. So if no one's going to play LaMelo tomorrow, just because LaMelo Ball tomorrow, just because the spot going up against Boston, I'll like that quite a bit in GPP. It's actually a pretty solid spot for him. So always really like LaMelo. And then if Brandon Miller's out, you're going to get Seth Curry starting. He would be a playable value. Trey Mann should see around 30 minutes off the bench. Great point per minute guy off the bench that's going to chuck would like him. And then LaMelo Ball looks even better. Miles Bridges would be playable. Then not much else changes there for me. Moving on to the Knicks. So we have Cat questionable. If he's out, they're probably just going to have to play Jericho Sims all the minutes he can handle at 3K. He will be a really good value. Now, he's not going to be a good producer when he's out there, but he probably have to play a ton of minutes. No Mitchell Robinson. Karl-Anthony Towns will be out. Preston Achiuwa is out. These have no bigs, right? So Thibs is going to do Thibs things, and he would have to play big minutes here. So would really like Sims if Karl-Anthony Towns is out. If Karl-Anthony Towns is in, love him at 8.1K. Finally had the good scoring game. Finally took more than 10 shots. Rebounding numbers go up at the 5. Probably going to get you a double-double. We know Thibs likes to play big minutes. So really like Cat if he plays. Jalen Brunson's just too cheap at 8.4K. I know the shot volume has been down this year, like I kind of expected, but stuffing the stat sheet, definitely too cheap. So I like that. And then Josh Hart just playing all the minutes he can handle right now. If he's going to continue to play 40 minutes a game, makes him a very safe option. Good rebounder, can stuff the stat sheet. So I do like some Josh Hart there. OG is fine. Just prefer Josh Hart. And then Miles McBride should see mid-20s minutes off the bench. He is a playable value, but we'll definitely have better value opening up later. Moving on to Detroit. So Detroit running a pretty decent rotation right now. They're running actually a really tight rotation. Well, not a tight rotation, but they're giving their main guys big minutes. Like I said, I've been always looking at. Duran got into foul trouble last game. That's why I saw the minutes for Isaiah Stewart. But look at the starter minutes. Cade 37, Jaden Ivey 36, Tobias Harris 35, Tim Hardaway Jr. 30. So they're playing their guys big minutes. Not the best spot going up against the Knicks, but Cade's been phenomenal this year. I would put him in a similar category to like Jalen Brunson as plays. I might give the slight edge to like a Jalen Brunson. Jaden Ivey continues to be too cheap at 6.2K. What else do we have here? Duran, fine option at 6.1. We'll like the spot. I think it's a fine spot regardless if Cat plays or not. So like always interest there, but not amazing plays. And then Tobias Harris, always going to project decent at this price point. About a fantasy point per minute guy that should play mid to high 30s minutes. So yeah, very, very safe option there. Tim Hardaway Jr. playable value, but once again, we should have better value opening up. I don't know if I get too much else. Beasley's the main guy playing minutes off the bench, but once again, we should have better value opening up later. Moving on to Sacramento, I absolutely love Domantas Sabonis. This is another team that's just running starters into the ground. Last game was a blowout. Should see high 30s minutes. I love Sabonis here. One of my favorite spend-ups on the board. I think De'Aaron Fox is a really good play at 8.6K. DeMar DeRozan getting up there in price point, but fine. Give me Fox Sabonis over him all day long. Kevin Huerter, I think, is a playable value. Malik Monk, I have no issue with. She'll play low 20s minutes, be high usage off the bench. Somewhere in that like Peyton Pritchard category. And I think that's it. Main interest here, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. I really like Sabonis. And Keegan Murray's fine at 6.1 as well. No strong takes there, but decent. And then, yeah, Kevin Huerter's playable. Moving on to Atlanta, here we go. So, same situation as last game. I have the rotation pulled up. We'll take a look at that together. I guess I closed it. They played on the 30th. So you should get starters of David Roddy, Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Capella, and Rishisher. Someone told me how to say his name, and I completely forgot. But assuming we get the same starters, I think there's a lot to like here. David Roddy, love at 4.2K for value. Zachary, really like for value at 4.5K. Trae Young, I love at 10.2. Jalen Johnson, I really like at 8.4K. Capella, Congo, they should split the center minutes, but Garrison Matthews even in play at 3.3K for value. But yeah, not the best spot going up against Sacramento, but like, yeah, I think, with no Dyson, no Bog, no Hunter, a lot of minutes, a lot of usage to go around. So definitely have to have interest in Atlanta for tomorrow. Moving on to the Bulls. So if we get Zach LaVine in, I like the spot here for Vooch. This price point does seem a bit too cheap, so I really like Vooch at that price point. I think LaVine's still too cheap. I'm going to keep saying it. Until they move his price point up, I'm always going to have interest in LaVine just because the minutes are going to be there. He's going to chuck when he's out there. No DeMar DeRozan anymore. Did my computer just die? Hopefully you guys didn't see that, but my computer went black. So don't mind LaVine there. I think I prefer Vooch, though. Giddey at 6'9" is fine. Kobe White, I would assume we'll talk about in a second. Now, if we get LaVine out, we'll see what they do with stars. I would assume it would just be I would assume. I know last year they started like a Dalen Terry at times. I think you could see a little bit more Dalen Terry, but I do know they started him sometimes. But if like LaVine's out, I was going to be a really good value at 4.5. He's going to have to play a ton of minutes if Zach LaVine's out. Then you're going to get usage bump for the main guys. Kobe White at 6'8" would look good. Josh Giddey would be fine. Vooch would look great at 7.7. I would love him. And then, yeah, Paul is playable. Would prefer like an Io. And then, yeah, you might see like a bit more like Dalen Terry, etc. Moving on to Brooklyn. So we got Claxton back. We got Ben Simmons back. They've been going with starters of Cam Thomas, Dennis Schroeder, Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith. And then Clax played high 20s minutes off the bench. I want to say, yeah, 26 minutes. Got into foul trouble as well. Just keep an eye on. But yeah, Ben Simmons, good point per minute guy. Stuff in the stat sheet. That's what he does. 4.6K, too cheap. Like Ben, quite a bit for value. Can't get to like a Noah Clowney with Claxton back. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's been pretty good playing big minutes as well. I think he's safe for value, but prefer like a Ben Simmons. Then I really like Cam Johnson. Just been playing huge minutes. He's chucking when he's out there. He can also grab some rebounds. He is still too cheap. So Cameron Johnson looks pretty damn good to me. Dennis Schroeder, this guy just can't miss. I'm expecting him to continue to be popular tomorrow. I'm probably going to fade because I think he's going to go over own because he just can't miss the ball. He's just been absolutely crushing, but the role is great. With Ben Simmons back, he does lose a little ball handling duties, assist percentage, etc. So I'll pump the brakes a little bit, especially if he doesn't continue to shoot 80% from the field. But I have no issues with it. He's almost 7K now. If he's going to be popular, I'm just going to fade. I'd rather just play Cam Thomas, right? If for some reason Dennis Schroeder is more popular than Cam Thomas tomorrow, just give me Cam Thomas all day long, right? But yeah, main standouts here, Ben Simmons, I like quite a bit. Cam Johnson, I like quite a bit. And then Cam Thomas. All right, moving on to Lakers. Good spot here. Anthony Davis and D'Lo are both probable. I mean, 80, I'm going to continue to meet ride J.D. Redick with how phenomenal he's done running the offense through Anthony Davis, even though I believe they've started 3-0 and now they're 3-2 or 3-3. I'm not entirely sure. 3-2 or 4-2 or something like that. But yeah, always going to be one of my favorite spend ups on the board. LeBron James at 8.8K does seem a little bit too cheap. He's had pretty rough start to the season, but should stuff the stat sheet. I'm fine with him. Austin Reeves, D'Lo, I think both playable. Give me Reeves over D'Lo though. Rui finally had a letdown game, but the minutes are there. And yeah, I think that's really it for the Lakers. Let's move on to Toronto, another team. No Barnes, no Quickly, no Olynyk, no Bruce Brown. Last game, we got starters, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, Davion Mitchell, and Jonathan Mogbo. If we get Mogbo starting again at 4.5K, I really like him for value. No, he's a much better play last game when he was 3.6K. I think 4.5K, is about where he should be. But I also don't think his minutes are necessarily 100% secure. So, like, if he's a really popular play tomorrow, I don't think he's a must, but would be a really good value. RJ Barrett looks phenomenal going up against Lakers. Just absolutely elite spot. Played 33 minutes. I love RJ Barrett tomorrow. I think Jakob Poeltl looks great, even at 6.9K. Still like him. Grady Dick, Davion Mitchell firmly in play. They look good. And then, yeah, like me some Mogbo. And then you're going to mainly see Ochai Agbaji off the bench, play big minutes. He's playable. All right, last game here, guys. More news. We got to keep an eye on. Nembhard, questionable. Miles Turner, questionable. If Miles Turner's out, Isaiah Jackson going to start. Played 25 minutes, had a floor game for the minutes that he had. Also got into foul trouble. He starts again. I love him if Miles Turner's out. If Nembhard's out, you should get Benedict Mathurin starting at 5.4K. He would look great. Would really like him. Halliburton and Siakam both fine, but mainly looking to the value here. And then you're going to see some Obi Toppin back up 5. He would be a fine value. And yeah, that's it. Let's move on to the Pels and another situation here. So, no Murray, no CJ, no Trey Murphy, no Herb Jones. Last game, Zion, Ingram, Hawkins, Alvarado, and who is the fifth starter? Daniel Tice. Is he questionable? No way he's questionable. Both bigs are also questionable. Wild. Okay, this could be a headache. Could it? Is Trey Jamison with the team? This could be absurd. But with that being said, Zion played a decent amount of minutes at the 5 last game. And if they're going to play him a decent amount of minutes at the 5, I think what could happen tomorrow is if Miles Turner gets ruled out, they could play Zion a decent amount of minutes at the 5 tomorrow, and the Pacers can also go small with Obi Toppin. So you might see a ton of Zion Williamson minutes at the 5 if Miles Turner gets ruled out on the other side. I still think you're going to see some Zion at the 5 regardless, but team to himself, I really like some Zion. I think Brandon Ingram looks great. Jordan Hawkins, going to be high usage. Chucker, when he's out there, play big minutes. He starts again. I really like him. Jose Alvarado looks great at 4.6K. Another good point per minute guy. Javonte Green's going to play more minutes off the bench. So then keep an eye on the bigs. If we get like a Tice out, like a Missy starting, would really like him for value, etc., etc. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for the slate, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great night, and I will talk to you all in the next video.